Hello everybody, this is Zaxter99, looking forward to getting into part 9. This should be the last part of No One But You. And the last episode, part 8, was a heartbreaker. When I didn't see that coming about, when Hideaki sat down and talked to his mother about, everything going wrong with Shinatsu and, trying to figure that whole puzzle out. And suddenly his memory came back to him of when he was a younger kid in the same town. And everything with Shinatsu and how he lost his father, which his mother had kept a mystery pretty much his whole life. And, figured he didn't, it was best if he didn't even know about any of that stuff. But when his memory came back, it was a pretty haunting and sad tale. So we now know how Hideaki lost his father when somebody had wrecked into him while he was coming home on Hideaki's birthday many years ago. So we also know from Hideaki's mother that Shinatsu was found dead many years ago as well. But somehow it seemed like we were walking to school with her and meeting her on the bridge and talking with her all this time. So is Hideaki crazy? Well, we're going to find out what's going on and how this all wraps up right here in part 9, right after this. Alright, welcome back everybody to my last part of No One But You. And however much is left, we're going to finish it on out in this episode. So I'm looking forward to finding out how this visual novel wraps everything up, because right now there's a lot of mystery still there. Even though we just learned the heartbreaking story of how Hideaki lost his father many years ago. Alright, so let's go ahead and load the data. Alright, yes, this is the last scene when he finally realized he remembers. And he's sitting at the table with his mom. And let's go ahead and continue from here. I could remember so clearly that I didn't understand how I could have forgotten to begin with. Shinatsu. I know her. We were friends. We used to play together almost every day. That's right. My mother nodded her head wearily. Although the time you spent together wasn't very long, she was your closest friend. The two of you were joined at the hip. You went everywhere together, did everything together. It was quite a sight to behold. My mother smiled to herself as she spoke, indulging in nostalgia. Your father always used to tease you, asking when the marriage ceremony was going to take place, and you would get so mad, Heidi. You hit him a few times, but you were too young to really hurt him. Your father just laughed. He always was such a lively person. He never stopped smiling. Right up until he died. My mother's smile faded as I spoke those unnecessary words. That's right, he died, and on your birthday at that. It was a terrible shock, perhaps even more so than falling into the river. That's what the doctors said when you were in the hospital. They said it must have been the news about your father, coupled with the stress of almost drowning, that wiped your memories. They called it an act of self-preservation, forgetting in order to protect yourself. And Shinatsu? Why did I forget her too? Her too. I brought her up now and then, but the look you gave me was so blank that I knew you couldn't remember her. Not a single thing. It was mortifying, but perhaps it was a good thing. You already had to deal with the loss of your father. Adding any more misery onto that would have been cruel. So, Shinatsu. My fingers clenched into fists. I don't want to ask this question, but I have to. I've come so far now, and this is the very last piece of the puzzle. I think I have a good idea about what happened already, but I want to hear it from my mother's lips first. No matter how painful it is, I need to know the truth. What happened to Shinatsu? My mother froze for a second, dreading the moment when this question would arise. She cared for you so much, Heidi. When you ran away, she ran after you. She tried to get you to stop, but when you fell in the river, My mother choked down on her own words. She was always such a good swimmer. Her parents said she was like a mermaid. She would always swim in that river, even though the signs said not to. But it never seemed to bother Shinatsu, at least not until that day. So she drowned? Mom nodded. That's right. Shinatsu was able to save you, but towing you back to the shore must have been too much for her small body. I managed to rescue her from the river, but it was no good. She had swallowed too much water. No matter what I did, she just didn't wake up. I silently stared at my mother, unwilling to accept what she said to me. Shinatsu Masaki, my best friend, died. She died in order to save me. She towed me back to the shore, depleting the entirety of her energy until she could no longer keep afloat. She died because I tried to kill myself. The gravity of what had happened weighed down on me heavily. In one day, I killed 2 of the people closest to me. I killed 2 good, kind, caring people, all because of my selfish and impatient personality. But it's not just that. She died trying to save me, and I forgot about her. I completely forgot all about her sacrifice. Maybe that's why she came back to me after all of these years. As I returned to the scene of her death, she wanted to see me one last time, to say goodbye to the boy who killed her. Not only did she die for me, she revived for my sake too. Throughout her entire life, and even after her death, I've been an insurmountable burden to her. I kept her from passing on, kept her from overseeing her family from above. I kept her chained to this planet ever since that day. And now, after all of this time, she will finally know peace. Wow. Returning once again to the scene of so much pain and joy, I crept out of the house and over to Shinatsu's bridge. Although I had missed her so frequently, and logically she shouldn't have been there, I knew I'd find her here tonight. So, you're here again, huh? Oh, hello, Hideaki-kun. Shinatsu turned to face me. wearing a smile without a hint of sadness. Despite our recent encounters all ending badly, Shinatsu seemed as joyful and as kind as ever. She greeted me without hesitation, smiled happily, and acted like her old self. But something was amiss. Although she wore a smile, Shinatsu's pale skin looks even lighter than usual. In fact, it looked downright transparent, like a glass window. I could see right through her head, as though she wasn't even there. And at that moment, I knew what was wrong. Shinatsu's time, it's finally up. Her visage faded in and out, lacking the details she once possessed. Her body pulsed. I could see her energy waning, each time fearing it might be the last. I wonder if it hurts. Residing in this world of the living as a ghost, with no flesh and blood body to keep you anchored to reality, it must be painful. And yet, every moment until this point, she struggled against her very nature so she could spend time with me. She did it all for me, and that's unforgivable. Hideaki-kun? Shinatsu blinked, visibly surprised by what she heard. Of all the things I could have said to her, that had to be one of the most unexpected. To the ethereally beautiful Shinatsu Misaki, who was dying for the second time, I didn't show compassion, but rather annoyance. What is it, Hideaki-kun? You look sad. Of course I'm sad. How could I not be sad, given what happened? I forgot all about you. You might have forgotten me, but it was not deliberate. That doesn't matter. I forgot you. You sacrificed so much for me, and I was a horrible friend. You could hardly call me a friend at all, and yet you gave up your life for me. You gave up your life, and then your afterlife too. I don't deserve it. I can't stand it. You didn't need to sacrifice so much for me. You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have died. I didn't want you to die. It took me a few moments before I realized I was crying. Hideaki-kun. Shinatsu approached me with faltering steps, like a newborn deer. It seems even walking is a chore for her now, as though the impact of her feet pressing against the ground will cause even more of her body to fragment. Even now, she's still trying so hard. She's trying so hard for me. Why? Why what? Why did you wait here for me? I don't understand. I choked on my tears, barely able to speak coherently. Shinatsu surveyed me, frowned, then tilted her head to one side, as though she was thinking deeply. I don't understand it either. Becoming a ghost wasn't a conscious decision that I made. It just kind of happened. One moment I was drowning, and the next, I'm not sure. I remember praying as I went under. I hope Hideaki-kun is okay. I want to make sure he's okay. That was when I saw a light. It was soft and warm, even though the river was horribly cold, and I went towards it. Then when I opened my eyes, I was sitting by the riverbank, and you were lying there. Your eyes were closed, and your body was cold, and yet I was the one who died. I remember that. I saw you leaning over me. You told me it would be better if I forgot everything. That's right, I did. I thought you would be happier that way, but even though I wanted what was best for you, I was selfish. I couldn't stand being forgotten, and that was why I couldn't pass on, because contrary to what I said, I wanted you to remember me. I didn't want to upset you, so I tried to keep my distance, but at the same time, I couldn't stop thinking about you. I mean, I did die because of you, Hideaki-kun. It wasn't as though I was hoping for some kind of reward, but maybe I did want you to recognize how hard I worked. Shinatsu smiled teasingly, careful to not sound serious as she laid blame for her death. So, you do understand now, I'm not a good person. I wasn't waiting for your sake, it was for mine. It was because, deep down inside, I really did want to be acknowledged. I wanted my death to mean something, and I wanted to see you one last time. Though we only knew each other for a short while, I really did like you, Hideaki-kun. Shinatsu's form continued to grow fainter and fainter. I could still see her smile, but even that was fading. But now that I've finally gotten to see you again, I must say goodbye. Goodbye? That's right. You finally remembered me, so now I have no other reason to remain behind. Faint though it may be, Shinatsu's smile looked both soft and peaceful. Thank you, Hideaki-kun. I really am glad that I was able to see you again. I was so overjoyed when I first saw you, and yet I was also scared. I was scared that my existence would just unsettle you. That's why I tried to keep my distance. And yet, even after I ran away, you tried to find me. And I'm glad you did, because now I can finally rest in peace. Shinatsu sounds so calm, but I can't accept this. It just doesn't seem fair. Why should she look at me so tenderly, resigned to death, when this was all because of my foolish actions? Why doesn't she resent me? If I were Shinatsu, I know I would. But I don't want you to go. Hideaki-kun, you might be at peace, but I don't know that I don't know what I want to do anymore. How can I keep on going, knowing that a good person, a kind, gentle, caring girl, died on my behalf? You're going to disappear, and I'm going to stay behind, and it just isn't fair. You're right, it isn't fair. But life rarely is. I've had enough time to realize that. Shinatsu? Don't worry, and don't cry for me either. Shinatsu took another trembling step towards me, almost stumbling as she did. She slowly brought one hand to my face, trying to wipe away my tears. But her hand passed straight through me.
Shinatsu. I saved you because I wanted to. I did it because I liked you. So don't worry. I don't resent you.
Shinatsu looked so small, so fragile, standing there on the bridge. The moonlight was so bright that it seemed to consume her, wiping the very last trace of Shinatsu Misaki clean from the earth. Even so, she remained firm, not budging an inch. Shinatsu has always been a strong-willed person, despite her quiet nature. I know that better than anyone. Shinatsu just doesn't give up. She isn't a quitter. That's why she was able to hang on, even when the breath was choked from her body and her heart stopped beating. She's strong, far stronger than I am. Even now, as she's about to die yet again, I'm the one crying, not her.
I must look so stupid. I don't think you look stupid. In fact, I'm flattered that you care for me so deeply, Hideaki-kun. I'd make a pretty bad lead in a romance drama, wouldn't I? Weeping like that. Maybe not. Women like sensitive men. Or, at least, I do. Shinatsu?
I felt my cheeks burn in response to her words. I looked away, trying to hide my embarrassment.
You know, I think I might have had something of a crush on you when I was little, Hideaki-kun. You were my first love.
Aww. I remained silent, unsure of what to say. In any other situation, I would be ecstatic to hear those words. But right here, right now, they sound like the last confession of someone who has accepted their fate. If this really is our final goodbye, then I should be honest with her too. I don't want to end this strange, fantastical night with any regrets. That's cool. That's really cool.
I think I had a crush on you too, Shinatsu. Maybe I still do. Just a little bit. You do?
That's right. I think you're beautiful. But more than that, you're strong and brave and you never give up. I admire you, Shinatsu, and I've done so from the moment I met you. When I was a kid, I looked up to you, and I remembered that feeling years later despite my failure to remember you. I really do love you, Shinatsu, and I always will.
Hideaki-kun,
Shinatsu's voice wavered, not because of her fading existence, but because of the overpowering emotion flowing through her.
I love you too. I've felt that way since the moment we first met.
I tried to take Shinatsu in my arms, but of course that proved impossible. Without a physical body to grab, my arms went right through her. That must be why she wouldn't let me hold her hand. She knew this would happen, and she knew how I would react. I would have been terrified back then. But not anymore. Even though I can't touch her, even though I can't hold her, even though, no matter what form they take, the dead are dead, and they cannot ever truly reunite with the living. This feels right. It has to be right. Because I love her. I lowered my head, and Shinatsu raised hers to meet mine. I want to hold her hand. I want to stroke her hair.
I want to kiss her lips, but it's far too late for that now. This is all I can do. I brought my own lips to meet the ghostly impression of Shinatsu's. Wow. Look at that, guys. Whew. I couldn't feel anything other than a slight touch of cold air. The motion was so chaste it could not even be called a kiss. Even fourth graders would be more daring. But to me, it was precious nevertheless. This is my precious final moment with Shinatsu Misaki, the fierce young girl who stole my heart and consequently lost the use of her own. And I closed my eyes, vividly imagining that I was really holding Shinatsu in my arms, feeling her lips against mine. Shinatsu. But when I finally opened my eyes, I was all alone. Wow, so that's it, people. I'm kind of without words on that one. This might be the best visual novel I've played yet. It definitely had an emotional ending, and one I wasn't quite expecting. I think this was a very well-written novel, and some people might call this a little bit over-dramatic or over-empathetic or whatever. That is just one of the many endings that you can get with this game. I'm not sure exactly how many endings there go, but that evidently is the Shinatsu ending. And I think I've seen on the forums that you can get like a Megumi ending and, different endings where you try to get close to other people in the game. So let me go ahead and, I guess there's a little bit more, so let's go ahead and read this. Water ran underneath a bridge, as cold as steel underneath a dark sky. The wind brushed against my cheeks and I shivered, burying my hands deep into the pockets of my coat. The stars up ahead twinkled, cold and distant. If I tilted my head back and stared, I could swear that I saw a brief glimmer up there, a small sphere dwarfed by the moon. That couldn't be Venus, could it? I can still remember Shinatsu pointing it out to me all those months ago during our school trip to the hot springs. As my eyes rolled over the planet, a small smile tugged at my lips. Even when she isn't here, a part of Shinatsu will remain with me forever. She might be long dead, but I won't forget our time together. Shinatsu came back, wandering around like a ghost, because she wanted to talk to me. She wanted to see me one last time. I hope that I didn't disappoint her. Her lips were cold and felt like little more than a gust of cool air, but it was a kiss all the same. Besides, our feelings are what matter the most, and I know now, even more strongly than I did back then, that I do love her. This feeling may fade over time, as all memories do, but for now, I'm content simply recalling those emotions. It's bittersweet, of course, and I can't deny that I feel sad when reflecting on my memories of Shinatsu, but I've never regretted them. Even if I had the chance to do all of this again, I don't think I'd choose to do anything differently. My life could have branched out in numerous ways, with every single thing I said or did, but no matter what, I wouldn't be satisfied with any other outcome. For me, it could only ever be Shinatsu. I shivered, exhaling softly, and watched my breath drift through the air in little puffs of smoke.
It really is cold out here. The tips of my fingers are starting to feel numb, and I bet my cheeks are all red. The weather report must have been right about it snowing soon. I'm sure the couples who have gone into Okutama today would be pleased by this. There's something romantic about the snow. Maybe because it looks pretty, yet melts away so quickly. Just like Shinatsu. Not like my feelings though. If I had forgotten her, why would I have come to this bridge where I first met her on such a special day? Here's to you, Shinatsu. I'm still thinking about you, and I hope you're happy wherever you are. I felt something cold land on my cheek. It melted, tickling down my face like a tear, causing me to tremble. Wow. It's snowing. It looks like it's going to be another beautiful new year here in Okutama. I only wish Shinatsu were here with me to witness it. Happy New Year, Shinatsu. I'll never forget you. And that's it, people. So no one but you, and there she is, Shinatsu. So, yeah, I had a feeling all along that it was probably going to end kind of sad. And, you know, I don't really remember, you know, any choices where I could have, you know, went after Megumi or went after Yui or, you know, tried to romance some other girl instead. I mean, for me, when I played this, I mean, the natural choices felt like Shinatsu, and just kind of like it said in the end, you know, he wouldn't have chose any other path or any other choice, that Shinatsu was the one, and he wouldn't change a thing. And so while I know that other YouTubers that play this game, or that maybe have already played it, will probably, you know, play all the possible endings and all that, no, you're not going to see me do that. I am very happy leaving this visual novel with just what, you know, just exactly how I played it, because I thought that was a great ending. I am very happy with this visual novel. I don't need to go and play every other path. I like it just the way it is, and just the way I played it. I hope you guys also enjoyed my playthrough of No One But You, and I hope you guys enjoyed that ending as much as I did. I thought it was pretty fantastic. I thought the writing was phenomenal. And I want to know what you guys think, though. You guys will have to let me know down in the comments below. And also, if you've enjoyed my, you know, my playthrough of No One But You, definitely think about giving me a thumbs up on this video. That definitely will help me know that you guys enjoyed my playthrough. So I want to go ahead and thank you guys for, you know, for watching it, for comments, for everything that you've done on my channel, whether it be a comment on another video or whatever it is. I want to go ahead and thank you guys, each and every one of you. This has been Zaxter99, and thank you as well for letting me share this experience with you. Take care. Take care of someone you love. We'll see you in the next video. This has been Zaxter99. Take care, everybody.